Hello. In this video, we will be covering the functionality of the Workflow tab made available in the DL Freight platform, as well as the workflow instances that are contained therein. A workflow contains the various shipments, also known as workflow instances, that your organization moves for Walmart Canada. The Workflow tab is the second tab that you'll see in the menu bar to the left of your screen. When you click on the Workflow tab, you'll see a tiled view of your workflows. As you can see on my screen, I have visibility into the workflow between my organization and Walmart Canada, as well as the number of shipments within that workflow. Clicking on the tile shows me the specific shipments which are denoted as workflow instances. This view is known as the Workflow Instances list. Each row represents a workflow instance, or a shipment. This view allows you to see at a quick glance any relevant information for each load, such as the load ID, the invoice status of the load, where the load originated from, and where the load is destined from. Additionally, it contains other specific information that relates specifically to this particular shipment, such as the tag ID, the blockchain record, when it was created, and who currently has the shipment. Each workflow instance has some quick access buttons that allow you to 1. Forward the shipment onto the next participant, but only if it's your turn in the workflow. 2. A timeline button, allowing you to see at a quick glance what step a workflow is in. 3. The detailed view, allowing you to drill down into a shipment to obtain more detail. And finally, the download report view, allowing you to download the invoice for this particular shipment. Additionally, you'll see down here that there's a flag with a green dot. This is the receive reject button. You see this when you have not yet received a shipment. If I click on the shipment, I can see a real-time view of where the shipment currently is in the workflow. It shows you which of the participants have already moved the shipment on and which ones have yet to receive it. Above each of the icons, you'll see a date and timestamp. If we take a quick look at this shipment down here, the one that I have yet to receive, you'll see that the line shows that it's been sent to this carrier participant, but it hasn't yet been accepted. Now, if I hover my cursor over the shipment here and I click it, I can automatically send this shipment to the next workflow participant. However, if I want to open one up, before I send it, I click on the Show Asset Detail. After clicking that button, my full detail page appears, and I can see the different categories that define specific details about this shipment. But first, let me orient you on the screen that you're seeing here. The top of the screen shows the Shipment Breadcrumb. You can see which of your workflows the shipment belongs to, as well as the unique load ID for this shipment and the unique hash for it. Underneath the breadcrumb, you can see the workflow instance timeline. I showed you this before in the previous screen, and it's shown to you here again. This shows you which participant is currently in possession of the shipment, who was passed the shipment on, and who is yet to receive it. At the top here, we have some action buttons. The first one being the download report button. Similar to the button in the previous view, this allows you to download a PDF copy of the invoice. Raise Dispute button allows the user to raise a dispute with Walmart if they want to dispute one of the values that are inside the shipment. and the send button. Similar to the send button from the previous, if I click on this, it will automatically send the shipment on to the next workflow participant. Below the workflow instance timeline is the participant group view. This view allows you to see how each workflow group sees the workflow instance. It's important to know that all workflow participants belong to a workflow group. Now underneath here, we can see the workflow instance details, which includes all of the important details such as the shipment tender details, which can be found under load details, the carrier details, showing the detail regarding your organization, the invoice detail, allowing you to see the draft values for the shipment invoice, the PO details, if the shipment contains a purchase order, the carbon tax section, which allows you to view if any carbon taxes apply to this shipment, the accessorial charges and accessorial charge unit sections. These sections display the accessorial charges that may have been calculated for the invoice based on the accessorial units that you've submitted for this shipment. And the known charges section that allows you to view the values for charges such as line haul, fuel, and so on. And finally, we have the activities and comments history section. This section is the audit log view, allowing you to see any changes that may have been made to the shipment workflow instance, as well as any messages related to the shipment as the workflow moves along from participant to participant. Scrolling back up, if you're in possession of the workflow, you may have the ability to edit the workflow instance by clicking on the pencil icon. A quick orientation of this, we have the refresh window instance. Clicking this button refreshes the screen to see if any additional data has been updated. The F@X button, when we click this, will display any formulas. As I mentioned here, edit the asset attribute will allow us to edit details of the shipment. And finally, the transaction history will show a history of any transactions for this particular shipment. I'll click on the pencil icon to bring up the Update Instance window. Any changes that I'm allowed to make in this view are visible and not grayed out. If I want to add any accessorial charges, I may do so in the section below. We're able to add additional accessorial charges as required for the same accessorial type. And again, any changes that are made are shown in the activity and comments history section. As you can see, any changes that are made show the previous value and the current value, as well as any downstream impacts. And finally, if everything is all good with the shipment, we can click the send button to send it on to the next workflow participant.